Hello friends, welcome to my channel Water Tech C. In the lockdown period, I hope you are doing your best. Today I have come with all new topic on pre-treatment plant and its working. In the previous session, we had seen why the water was required for power generation, why the water treatment was necessary. Today in this session, we are going to focus on the pre-treatment plant and its working. For the sake of convenience, I have divided this session into two parts. So let us see the part 1. The pre-treatment plant and its working. The pre-treatment is nothing but the primary treatment of water in which physical impurities from the water like color, odor, organic matter, turbidity, etc. are removed. The plant design depends upon the type and load of impurities present in the source raw water and required finished water quality. There are different stages of the pre-treatment plant like screening, then storage of raw water, and aeration, pre-chlorination, coagulation, flocculation and sedimentation, and finally filtration. In the flow chart of pre-treatment, we see that the raw water from raw water source is taken to the pre-treatment plant. At the intake, the screens are installed to bring about the screening, and the particles of large size are removed here. Then the water is stored in the one-day reservoir where the primary sedimentation takes place. Then it is followed by aeration. Water is aerated in the aerators. Air is added to the water. Then it is followed by pre-chlorination, where chlorine is added to the water as a disinfectant. It is followed by alum and lime dosing to bring about the effective coagulation. It is followed by flocculation and clarification in a common unit which is called as clariflocculator. Finally, the water is filtered through rapid sand gravity filters and it is stored in the filter water storage tank. From here, the water is supplied either to DM plant, softening plant or drinking water plant as required. The first stage, screening. Let us see in detail. The core screens are installed at the intake to remove the material of fairly large size like floating impurities entering the plant. The steel bars forming the screens are of the size of 25 mm in diameter. They are spaced about 100 mm apart. The orifices are of the order of 6 mm and they are placed on slight inclination from the vertical to facilitate raking. This is shown here as in figure. Sometimes fine screens are also fitted immediately after the core screens to remove the material of varying sizes. These screens are generally cleaned by water jets. The next stage is the raw water storage. Many observers may be thinking that is the storage of raw water a water treatment facility or process? The answer is yes. In the ancient period, we know that the people used to store the water for appreciable period and they used to observe an improvement in the raw water quality. The storage provided is for 7 to 15 days of the average water demand, which is sufficient to reduce the pathogenic bacteria, suspended solids and river algae, but it should not be long enough to encourage other organisms to develop because it is observed that the extended raw water storage facilitates the growth of microorganisms, algae, etc. This is a view of water reservoir of a water treatment plant. Then is aeration. As the name itself implies, the aeration is nothing but adding the air into the water. This increases the oxygen saturation of the water, removes the undesirable gases like carbon dioxide, hydrogen sulfide, ammonia dissolved in the water by adding oxygen. Broadly, aeration is divided into two areas, surface aeration and subsurface aeration. In the surface aeration, it is commonly done by splashing the water over trays to cascade and break up the stream into countless droplets, whereas in subsurface aeration, it can also be done by blowing the air through the stagnant water. The ultimate aim of aeration is to bring about the close contact between the water and air. This is a cascading type of aerator normally found in the water treatment plant. Now the question is why aeration is essential. Aeration is a cheap but valuable means of controlling odor, taste, and corrosion even if it is not 100% efficient. Excess of CO2 concentration in the water is corrosive and it interferes the other treatment process as well as it is detrimental to the downstream auxiliaries. Hydrogen sulfide imparts the unpleasant odor and taste to the water even if it is present in small concentrations. If the water is lacking oxygen, it will pick up the oxygen from the air during aeration and its taste will improve. Certain volatile substances liberated by algal growth or decomposition of organic matter can also be removed by aeration. Iron and manganese in water are also oxidized and precipitated out during this step. The raw water from aerator is then taken to a unit which is called as stilling chamber where turbulence in the water due to pump discharge is reduced and the water flow is slowed down. Pre-chlorination is done in this unit through HDP diffusers. Now let us see pre-chlorination in detail. As the name is itself suggestive, the pre-chlorination is adding the chlorine at the very initial stage of water treatment. It is practice of injecting chlorine into the raw water before pre-treatment. The purpose of pre-chlorination is to kill the algae and destroy high bacterial count, that is microorganisms, to reduce color and slime formation, to oxidize and precipitate iron and manganese, to assist settlement, because it is observed that pre-chlorination facilitates coagulation and sedimentation at the downstream. Dosing rate of 2 to 5 ppm of chlorine is sufficient, but it depends upon actual organic load in the raw water. If water is highly turbid, then the chlorination is ineffective because the chlorine is being absorbed by the suspended solids without compensatory benefits. Chlorination is brought about by three ways: by dosing either gaseous chlorine liquefied under pressure or liquid sodium hypochlorite or sodium bleaching powder. Of these three, gaseous chlorine liquefied under pressure is the most predominant way of chlorination in most of the water treatment plants. Thus, this gaseous chlorine is stored either in large size tunner or in small size cylinders, both of yellow colored. This much was in the pre-treatment plant part 1. The rest of the processes we will see in the part 2. If you are not subscribed my channel, please subscribe, share and like and press the bell icon so that you will get the notifications of my new videos. This much for this now. Thank you.